Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kieno with STEMwithKieno.com. And today we are going to talk about attitude instrument flying for all the instrument pilot students. All right, so let's get ourselves, we're currently at Boston Logan International Airport, and we are going to depart. And we're going to point ourselves in the southwest. Positive rate. Gear up. So as we go into our climb, why would we need to use attitude instrument flying? Well, clearly on a day like today, you're not going to need it because we can look around, we can see the horizon, and we can fly uh, visually, or VFR. In VFR, we're flying visually. We're looking outside. We can see what's going on with our airplane virtually by just looking outside. Attitude instrument flying occurs when we have less than VFR weather. And typically, just basic numbers. If we could maintain 1 mile clear clouds, which is special VFR, or 3, 5, 1, and 2 is my memory aid. 3 statute miles visibility, 500 feet below, 1,000 feet above clouds, 2,000 feet horizontally. Is that 2 miles? I'll recheck that and I'll put that in the notes. But basically, in a situation where we could not fly visually by looking outside and cross-checking with our instruments to see what's going on, we would have to fly under an IFR flight plan. All right, so we're going to get ourselves pointed south. East. We'll keep a heading of probably somewhere around 240 degrees, and we'll get ourselves to 3,000 feet. And we'll go ahead and go into our cruise climb. And for our simulation purposes, our power setting for the cruise climb will be 25-25, which is 25 inches of manifold pressure and 2,500 RPMs. Now, there's a memory aid that we like to use, and I'll level out here. There's a memory aid that I like to use as pitch, power, and trim. So we would pitch our aircraft, we would set our power, and then we would trim. But we still have just a little bit more climbing to do. And out there is the beautiful city of Boston in the Northeast. Now, again, we're going to pause for a moment because we need to set ourselves up for what an IFR day would look like. So this is VFR. Okay, and this is IFR. This is us pretty much flying by reference to instruments. Now, we're on top of a cloud deck, but we cannot consider that to be level flight. We have to fly by reference to our instruments because the clouds could be sloped. There could be, multiple clouds and different conditions. But right now, you can see that it's not that beautiful, clear day we were looking at. Let's take a look outside. So clearly we can see that we cannot really see the ground that well. So we have to fly by reference to instruments. And sometimes we could actually still be in the clouds, even at this altitude. So definitely not weather that we would not want to be messing around with if we were not instrument rated. Now another thing too, we really don't do a whole lot of looking outside of the airplane during IFR. And sometimes at night, when you're over large bodies of water, you don't know which way is up and down, or up or down. So we have to fly by reference to our instrument. So while we continue our climb, okay, attitude instrument flying is controlling an aircraft by reference to flight instruments. So that's what we're doing right now, rather than outside visual reference. That's what we were doing before. Now, you were introduced to attitude instrument flying during your private pilot course. In your instrument training, you will refine this skill to the point where you can maintain precise control of an aircraft by instrument reference while carrying on many additional duties of IFR flight. So basically, we're focused on our basic 6 flight instruments for the most part. Now, as far as our fundamental skills of attitude instrument flying, there are 3 fundamental skills. One is called instrument CrossCheck, the other one is instrument interpretation, and the other one is aircraft control. Okay. So we're going to level out at 3,000 feet on this current heading. So we're going to be pretty much locked in, and we're pretty much at 240 where we want it to be. Okay, so again, we pitch, we set our power, and then we trim. Okay, now we're going to be setting our power pretty much by manifold pressure. If we did not have constant speed propellers, we would just be using our engine RPM as an indication. So as we approach 3,000 feet, we're gonna gently push forward to pitch. Note what we have going on in the attitude indicator because we want to be at level flight. Cross-check with our vertical speed indicator. So we're pitching now. Set our pitch. Set our power, and it's going to be 2323, and then we're going to trim. So if I feel my nose still rising up a little bit, I'm going to trim nose down a little bit, and I want this vertical speed indicator to center on the 0. And so this is an acquired skill. Okay, we're not using it autopilot. We want this thing trimmed out perfectly. And we'll go into instrument cross-check in a moment here once we get this settled down. So this is synonymous with the air traffic controller saying whatever the tail numbers. I'll say November 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so Boston. So November 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is Boston departure. Turn heading 240 and maintain 3,000. And we'd say 240, maintain 3,000, November 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically, we want to maintain our heading plus or minus 5 degrees, and we want to maintain our altitude plus or minus 100 degrees. Okay. We'll get into the practical test standards at a later date, but we're constantly just cross-checking with our attitude indicator, our altimeter, and our vertical speed indicator. And basically, our aircraft is inherently stable, so it's going to settle down after a while, just some slight trim adjustments. And I'm pretty much hands off of the controls right now, and I'm just kind of adding trim, but you can see that I'm maintaining a heading of 240 and 3,000. So instrument cross-check consists of our scanning technique. All right. Regardless of your scanning technique, the attitude indicator is very important because it replaces the natural horizon. Now what that means is we can't see the natural horizon outside. Whether we have, this is kind of much. We're still 1 mile clear cloud, so we're not actually in the soup, so to speak. But the attitude indicator replaces us looking for a horizon like we did before when we would scan visually flying under VFR. So this attitude indicator is very, very important. All right. You normally cross-check with the attitude indicator with other instruments to provide pitch, bank, and power indication. So basically, we could do like a T-scan. Okay, so your T-scan consists of a T like this. So I would kind of go to my airspeed indicator. All right, I want to be in level flight. So if I was in a descent, my airspeed indicator would be building. In a descent, in an ascent, climbing, the airspeed would be bleeding off. It's pretty much stable and it's not moving, so that is an indication that I'm in level flight. I'll come back to the attitude indicator, make sure that my wings are level, meaning that that white line is the horizon and the orange is the miniature airplane. Okay, I go to my altimeter, making sure that my altimeter is around 3,000 feet, plus or minus 100, and it is. Okay, so we're good there. And then we come down to back to the attitude indicator, and then down to the heading indicator. So it is a constant sweep, always coming back to the attitude indicator. So this is pretty much what my eyes would be doing. Attitude indicator, level, down to the heading indicator. Back to the attitude indicator, over to the airspeed. And noted that the airspeed is stable, it's not increasing or decreasing. Back to the attitude indicator. Okay, so this is what I call a T-scan. Right. Now, that is the first scan that you should learn, and it's very effective for level flight. Okay, and your airplane will do some other things sometimes. So we're kind of like 50 feet high. So we're constantly correcting, and the aircraft is not on autopilot. I am flying this, using my attitude instrument flying method. So the T-scan is what I prefer to use during straight level flight. If I'm assigned a heading and an altitude, I'm going to be basically doing my T-scan. So again, attitude indicator, not really showing the climb or descent. It's level. Airspeed. Airspeed's not increasing or decreasing. Back to my attitude indicator. Because we focus on this primarily because we can't see outside that way. So literally, if you're flying by reference to instruments, you're really going to be inside the cockpit. It's not before where we're looking outside, clear right, turn right, clear left, turning left. Air traffic control or the approach controllers and departure controllers will be assigning us traffic call-outs, to just see if we can see the aircraft. But they're going to actually be an extra pair of eyes for us to just kind of keep a lookout for us. So you hear traffic call-outs like November 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is most of the departure. You have traffic 1 o'clock 2 miles, and you'll scan out there. You look outside the aircraft to see if you can see it. If you don't, then Boston departure November 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No contact, meaning that I don't have visual contact. So they'll continuously give you updates, on any airplanes that might be near your route of flight, or any airplanes that could be near you. Okay, they provide what we call sequencing and separation services. Sequencing, they're going to make sure that nobody follows me, runs into me, and I don't run into anybody else. And separation is the altitude part. If there is an airplane that's going to be near me, it's going to be assigned a different altitude. So that aircraft would not be assigned 3,000. It might be assigned 5,000 or 7,000. So just a little bit of additional information. So our instrument cross-check, we talked about that. Our instrument interpretation. All right, our second fundamental skill is instrument interpretation. This requires less effort if you've studied and observed how each instrument operates. And I've done videos on how these basic 6 instruments operate. All right, so we have to interpret these in a certain way. If this vertical speed indicator pops up, we don't chase it. We just let it settle down and see what it's going to do. It's a trend instrument. So if it pops up and then comes back down, we'll wait to see if it'll come back down. If it pops up and stays up, then you're going to have a climb going on, and you cross-check with your altimeter. Now our objective is to maintain plus or minus 3,000 feet, plus or minus 100. We're doing a fine job of that, and we are maintaining our heading as if we were assigning in heading and altitude uh, instructions from the departure control or air traffic control, I should say. So, um, just being able to interpret how these instruments work, what some of their flaws are, is very, very important. Um, this also helps with our scan. You know, if we understand what's going on with our scan, it helps us interpret better what's going on with our aircraft. Now I've just trimmed a little bit downward because my altimeter is floating a little bit closer to 100, and I want to get that back down. So we don't have to make we make very, very small changes, because if we're actually in the suit, we don't want spatial disorientation, and I'll talk about that in another video. So we just trim down, nose down slightly. We just touch the trim, and we can see that our altimeter is coming back down. And when we touch 3,000, she actually panned out for us. Okay, so this bird, she really wants to fly, because I think that this vertical speed indicator is probably going to creep up a little bit. So still again, attitude indicator, airspeed, attitude indicator, heading, attitude indicator, altimeter. Okay, so I'm not even going to do anything. This plane is fine. It's plus or minus 100 feet. We're only about 20 feet above our altitude. Okay, we'll just make some additional adjustments to tighten that up, but we're pretty much at our goal. The third fundamental skill is aircraft control, which we are controlling our aircraft. The controller asks us to maintain a heading of 240 and 3,000 feet, and we're doing that. Okay, so we're controlling our aircraft. This is the action you take as a result of cross-checking. Now, when my altimeter was almost at 3,100, you control the aircraft. I said, no, I'm just going to trim down, nose down a little bit, and we're back at 3. So you have to constantly maintain a situational awareness of what's going on with your aircraft. Okay, so those are the 3 fundamental skills of attitude instrument flying. Your cross-check, I introduced you guys to the T-scan today. Instrument interpretation, understanding how these instruments work. We don't chase our, if we have a level pitch indication on our attitude indicator, it does not necessarily mean we're in level flight. We have to cross-check. We have to make sure our altimeter isn't moving, because if it's floating up, we're not at level flight. And we might need to hit the adjustment knob to make some adjustments to raise our miniature aircraft up or down sometimes. So that's our instrument interpretation. We're cross-checking instruments with each other because they operate off of different systems. Your pitot-static system feeds the airspeed indicator, our altimeter, and our vertical speed indicator. The static system, well, the pitot part of it just feeds the airspeed indicator. The static system feeds our airspeed indicator, altimeter, and vertical speed indicator. So we understand that that is a whole different system. Now, for redundancy, we have vacuum-driven instruments. These are pneumatically driven, and this is electrically driven. Okay, we should see DC electric somewhere on this instrument. So we have all our systems kind of agreeing with each other. These guys are from the pitot-static family. These are from the pneumatic vacuum, and these are from the electrical vacuum family. So even if my vacuum systems fail, I can maintain level flight using my electrically operated gyroscope to maintain level flight. and then, hopefully our attitude and our DG wouldn't go down, but it is a possibility. If the heading indicator goes down, we have our compass, which is up here, okay, to maintain directional control. So everything, for redundancy, everything has a backup. Okay, we just don't say, okay, well, this is the end all be all. No, we have to periodically check our heading indicator with our magnetic compass once we're in level unaccelerated flight. So that's all I pretty much wanted to cover in this video. It's running about 20 minutes. Right. We're going to go into the primary and support concept of attitude instrument flying, because that is definitely on the instrument rating test. Okay, it's definitely on the instrument rating test, and you will need to understand how the primary support system works when it concerns aircraft instrument interpretation. And so we are on our heading, and we are at 3,000 feet. And if we come on over here and we look at our autopilot and flight director is off. It is in the off position, because a lot of people be like, man, you wasn't flying that plane by attitude instrument reference. Yes, I was. And the autopilot is off. And that's really all I have for this video. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share it in your social media networks. And if you would like to support our channel, you can go to stemwithkieno.com, go to the support page, and you can support us by, clicking on any one of the PayPal buttons that you wish to choose. So whatever you guys want to, contribute to help support this channel, I greatly appreciate it. It takes a lot of energy and resources to keep the STEM with Kieno machine going, and any bit of help would be appreciated. The links will be in the bottom for the channel support page. And as usual, let's do our flyby. This is Kieno with STEMwithKieno.com. I'll see you guys later.